So far, we have studied the 7 steps of 8 noble-fold path of enlightenment. In this discourse, we are going to speak about the ultimate step called right samadhi. This step would be very difficult for you to comprehend because it lies in the beyond perception realms. Samadhi can also be called as sunyata or nothingness. In Buddhist myths, there was a disciple called Subuddhi who attained enlightenment, and the gods requested him to give a sermon on sunyata. Subuddhi agreed to the request, and as he was about to begin his discourse on sunyata, gods rained him with flower petals. Subuddhi asked the reason for such a gesture, and the gods said that this is a thanksgiving gesture for the discourse on sunyata. Subuddhi, however, asked that so far I have not started giving the discourse, and you have already given me a thanksgiving shower of petals. Gods replied, "This is what sunyata is. You never said anything, we never heard anything, and this is sunyata." However, we need to see this step with contemplation. We need to see what Mahabharata and Sanatana Dharma wants to talk about this particular step. Till the last discourse, we had spoken about right efforts and right mindfulness, and I had explained you the vast form of Krishna and Krishna's dialogues with Dronacharya, that he had not upbrought his son Aswathama in the right manner. This necessarily means that the only resistance between you and God is ahankara. Aswathama is symbol of ahankara. There are various secrets that lie between the vast form of Krishna and this ultimate step of samadhi, and we need to understand them properly. A very interesting character in Mahabharata has often been understated, and this character is called Ghatotkach. Ghatotkach is quite similar to Dronacharya. He is also like a vessel. His head used to look like an earthen pot, and hence he was called Ghatotkach. His son of Bhim, and as I already told you, Bhim is equivalent to Theseus and is symbol of logical arguments. He is the symbol of scriptural knowledge. There was a lady called Ahilvati. Ahilvati was daughter of Vasuki Nag. Now, who is this Vasuki Nag? Vasuki Nag is the one who dwells on the neck of Lord Shiva. It surrounds the neck and gives coolness to Shiva. The neck or the throat is symbol of Visuddha Chakra, and before understanding samadhi in its right sense, we have to understand Visuddha Chakra. It lies in the throat. Shiva consumed the poison but did not let it descend down his stomach. He suspended it in the throat. And what does it mean? This entire myth means suspension of judgment. You are not here to find good or bad, but you are here to align with the imperfections of the world. The world remains as it is. You don't have to be judgmental. And this Visuddha Chakra explains how to ascend towards samadhi. Ghatotkach was the most educated person on the earth, as Ahilvati had decided to marry someone who would be the most educated and could defeat her in the logical arguments, and Ghatotkach did that. This necessarily means that Ghatotkacha was one of the most educated person in logical argument, even surpassing his own father Bhim. Ghatotkacha and Ahilvati gave birth to a son called Barbari. Barbari had 3 arrows, and these were unique arrows. With the first arrow, he could mark everything that he wanted to save. With the second arrow, he could mark everything that he wanted to slay. And with the third arrow, he could slay everything that he marked. In a dramatic event, Krishna wanted to test him, and he told him to mark all the leaves of a tree. And when Barbari was in meditation, evoking his celestial weapons, Krishna plucked a leaf and put it beneath his feet. When Barbari started his campaign, the first arrow marked each leaf of the tree and started hovering over the feet of Krishna. This marked Krishna with a wound. And if you see this, you will find a great similarity with Achilles of Greek mythology. This wound in Krishna's feet became the reason for his death also. What does feet of Krishna mean? Feet of Krishna means devotion of Krishna, personification of Krishna. The very personification of Krishna will be the reason for the death of Krishna. Krishna needs to be individual. Krishna needs to awaken within you. Devotion for an external Krishna is the reason for the death of Krishna. You have to understand this. As the war was over, all the Pandavas and other warriors began thinking about their contribution in the battle. And Krishna suggested them to go and see Barbari, because Barbari's head was severed and was placed on a hillock to see the event of Kurukshetra battle. Barbari simply replied that he could see only one thing in the battlefield, and it was Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra itself was slaying everything, and Mahakali was drinking the blood of all the slayed people. This embarrassed all the Pandavas and other warriors. This necessarily means that Sudarshan Chakra is a very, very important character in this step of Samadhi. What does Sudarshan Chakra do? Sudarshan Chakra does not give impact injury. It cuts through. Sudarshan Chakra necessarily means that all your questions might not be answered, but the questions itself would be eliminated. So at this stage beyond Visuddha Chakra, your logics, your perceptions, your new insights have no role. Ghatotkacha is killed. Barbari's head is severed. And the announcement that Barbari makes is the ultimate announcement. It says that elimination of questions would arise within you. There would not be any burden on you to become wise. The wisdom itself would become a contamination. Krishna has to die, and the reason for the death would be the marking on his feet, which is devotion for Krishna. Devotion is the biggest distractor. A Krishna does not lie outside. A Krishna has to be cultivated within you. Samadhi is a beyond perception, but any perception about anything needs to be eliminated. The senses have to be weakened. They have to stop reacting to stimuli, and that is what is shown by weakening of Arjun. Arjun could not even save a handful of women from robbers. His quiver was emptied. His celestial weapons did not obey him. Self-awareness also has to die. Wisdom also has to die. questions has to die. All the perceptions, including the perception of God, has to die. This is Sunyata. This is how you achieve it. Enough for today. Thank you.